Welcome back to the Black Ledger. Tonight, we are auditing the very foundation of our reality. We are auditing gravity. Close your eyes. It is August 15th, 1971. A humid, heavy Sunday evening in Washington, D.C. While the rest of the world was preparing for their Monday morning shift, a quiet coup was taking place in the Oval Office. Richard Nixon sat before the cameras, his face tight, his eyes betraying nothing. He announced the temporary suspension of the dollar's convertibility into gold. In the world of auditing, there is no such thing as temporary. There are only permanent shifts in the ledger. That night, the anchor of human civilization was cut. For 5,000 years, money had a soul because it had a body. It was heavy. It was a physical burden. If you held a gold coin, you held a piece of the sun. You held the labor of 1,000 men, the heat of the forge, and the cold reality of the earth. But after that Sunday night, money became a ghost. It became a promise made by people who have spent the last 50 years perfecting the art of breaking them. Why does this matter to you now, 50 years later? Because we are living in the aftermath of lightness. We have built a world of floating numbers, digital signals, and unbacked dreams. But tonight, as the rain falls outside your window, I'm going to pull you back to the bedrock. I'm going to show you why the most powerful people on this planet, the ones who tell you that gold is a pet rock, are secretly hoarding it in quantities that would stagger your imagination. If you can feel the vertigo of the modern world, if you can feel the ground shifting beneath your feet, then you are ready for the audit. This is not a request for attention. It is an invitation to join the 1% who refuse to be blinded by the digital glare. Secure your place in the vault before the doors lock for good. The records here are permanent. Let us begin with the physics. Why gold? Why not iron or copper or the silicon bits of a hard drive? Gold is element 79. It is not made on Earth. It was forged in the heart of dying stars, delivered here by a celestial bombardment of asteroids billions of years ago. It is chemically noble. It does not rust. It does not tarnish. It does not vanish. It is the only financial asset that is not someone else's liability. If you own a gold bar, you owe nothing to no one. It is the ultimate expression of freedom. And that is exactly why the architects of the New World want you to forget it exists. Now, walk with me. We are leaving the chaotic surface of Manhattan, leaving the world of flashing neon signs, digital tickers, and the frantic energy of the stock exchange. We are walking down Liberty Street. The fog today is thick, swallowing the tops of the skyscrapers, turning the city into a series of jagged, dark silhouettes. We approach a building that doesn't belong in a modern city. It looks like a Florentine fortress, a relic of an age when power was expressed through stone, not software. This is the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. We pass through the iron gates, and the noise of the taxi cabs begins to fade. We are going down. Not just one floor, but 5 levels below the pavement. We are descending into the very foundation of the island. 80 feet beneath the street. Here, the air undergoes a transformation. It loses the scent of the city, the exhaust, the steam, the smell of people. It becomes sterile, filtered, recycled. It carries a faint, sharp scent of cold iron and ancient dust. At this depth, we are no longer resting on man-made structures. We are resting on the Manhattan schist, the ancient metamorphic bedrock that has anchored this island for 450 million years. It is the only material on Earth dense enough to support the sheer, crushing mass of what lies ahead. As an auditor, I find comfort in this rock. It is a reality that cannot be negotiated. It is the only thing in New York that doesn't care about the price of the dollar. We stand now before the entrance. It is a masterpiece of security and engineering. This is not a door you would recognize. There is no keyhole, no handle, no digital scanner. It is a massive steel cylinder, 9 feet tall, weighing 90 tons. It is set into a frame of steel and concrete that weighs another 140 tons. Imagine the precision required to move such a mass. When the combinations are entered, combinations held by 3 separate individuals who are never allowed to be alone in this room. The cylinder begins to rotate. It doesn't move quickly. It is a slow, majestic turn. It groans with a low, hydraulic hiss, a sound like a mountain being moved by an invisible hand. When it aligns, a narrow passageway is revealed. As we step through, the silence changes. It becomes absolute. It is a heavy, velvet silence that presses against your eardrums. We are inside the main vault. For those of you listening in the dark, imagine the air here. It is perfectly still. No wind, no vibration, no life. It is a tomb for the sun. There are no wide open spaces here. It is a labyrinth. 122 cages made of blue painted steel. Each cage is a cell. And inside each cell, the wealth of empires is stacked like common bricks. This is not the gold you see in jewelry stores. This is the raw, primal element. 6,190 tons of it. That is roughly 508,000 bars. If you were to stack them one on top of another, they would reach into the stratosphere. But here, they are confined by the bedrock, held in place by the sheer gravity of their own value. Let us stop at cage 42. Look at the bars through the mesh. They are not uniform. Some are the size of a standard loaf of bread, while others are slightly tapered, like a pyramid with its top cut off. Each one weighs approximately 400 troy ounces, nearly 28 pounds. Your mind expects it to be heavy, but your muscles are still betrayed. Gold is nearly twice as dense as lead. It feels like it is trying to sink through your palms, trying to return to the center of the earth. This is the weight of reality. You cannot fake this density. You cannot replicate this feeling with paper or pixels. Notice the surfaces. Some bars are bright, aggressive yellow. The new money of the 21st century, refined to 99.9% purity. Others are dull, covered in a fine layer of grey dust, stamped with the seals of the 1920s and 30s. You see the Nazi eagle on some, confiscated during the chaos of the 1940s. You see the British crown, the Russian double eagle, the stamps of refineries in South Africa, and Australia that closed their doors a century ago. Each bar is a silent witness. Each bar represents a nation's blood, its wars, its peace treaties, and its survival. These are not just assets. They are the physical records of human history. But as an auditor, I look past the history. I look at the stamps. I look at the serial numbers. And I see a disturbing pattern. Many of these bars have been here for 70 years. They are stationary. They are dead capital. Or are they? Here is where the audit turns cold. As we walk past the blue cages, I want you to look at the ledgers hanging from the gates. These are the paper records that tell us what should be inside. But when was the last time a bar was actually pulled from the bottom of the stack and put on a scale? (1953). That was the last time the United States conducted a full, transparent, physical audit of these vaults. For over 7 decades, we have been told to trust the ledger. But in my profession, trust is the enemy of truth. Consider the shadow market. In the world of high finance, these bars are often leased out. A central bank in Europe might own a cage here, but they can lease that gold to a commercial bank in London to generate a small interest rate. That bank then sells a paper claim to that gold to an investor in Singapore. The gold never moves. It stays in the blue cage, covered in Manhattan dust. But who truly owns it? On the global ledger, 3 different entities might claim that same bar of gold. This is rehypothecation. It is the alchemy of the modern age. The banks have created a world where the same bar of gold exists in 3 places at once on paper, but only in one place in reality. In the silence of the vault, the question haunts us. If every nation and every investor asked for their gold at the same time, how many of these cages would be empty? How many of these frozen suns have been sold 100 times over? If the bedrock of Manhattan is supporting nothing but empty air and paper promises, then the final settlement is coming. And it will be heavy. We are leaving the physical vault now, but the audit is far from over. As we ascend back to the surface, prepare yourself. In the next phase, we will track the shadow bars, the ones that have already vanished into the digital grid. Stay anchored. The ledger is still open. While the world remains distracted by the flickering blue light of screens and the breathless daily promises of a virtual salvation, a much older, much darker game is being played in the quiet corridors of the high-finance cathedrals. The architects of our reality are performing what I call a reverse alchemy. In the dusty, candle-lit workshops of the Middle Ages, the alchemists spent their entire lives trying to turn lead into gold. They failed because you cannot cheat the fundamental laws of the universe. You cannot conjure value from the common. But today's financial alchemists, the ones in silk ties and glass towers, have finally succeeded in their own way. They haven't turned lead into gold. They have done something far more dangerous. They have turned gold into paper. They have taken the heaviest, most honest element in the known universe and stripped it of its physical body. They have successfully convinced the collective mind that the shadow of an object is the same as the object itself. They want you to believe that a digital pulse on your device or a ledger entry in a distant server is the same as the cold, dense bar we touched earlier in the dark of the vault. They encourage you to trade in shadows, to speculate on futures that never arrive, to hold unallocated accounts where your wealth exists only as a flickering digital ghost in a machine you do not own. Speaking truthfully, paper gold is a masterpiece of deception. It is the art of selling the same sunset to 1,000 different people, all of whom believe they are the sole witness. For every one single ounce of physical, tangible gold sitting in a secure vault, there are estimated to be hundreds of ounces of paper claims circulating in the global market like restless spirits. It is a grand global game of musical chairs played with the life force of humanity. As long as the music of market confidence plays, everyone feels the warmth of wealth. But the music is a recording, and the power grid is fragile. What happens when even a tiny fraction of those hundreds of claim holders decide they no longer want the promise? What happens when they demand the atom? The answer is a mathematical certainty. The paper world will vanish in a single silent afternoon, leaving only the void where the gold was supposed to be. To understand why the vaults are being emptied today, we must look back at the moments when the mask first slipped. History is not a line. It is a series of recurring echoes. Consider the spring of 1933. In a single afternoon, the highest authority in the land declared that the very gold held in the hands of the people was no longer theirs to keep. It was the first modern audit of confiscation. Under the guise of an emergency, the physical atom was criminalized. The people were given paper in exchange for their heavy truth, promised that the paper held the same value. But the paper was a leash. Imagine the scene. Thousands of people lined up in the rain, handing over the only thing that gave them true sovereignty in exchange for a printed promise. They were told it was for the common good. But the ledger shows a different story. Once the physical metal was locked behind the steel doors of the central cathedrals, the multiplication began. They began to issue more claims than there were atoms. They turned the gold into a ghost, a phantom that could be in 100 places at once. We are living in the terminal phase of that 1933 betrayal. Today, they don't need to knock on your door to take your gold. They simply ensure you never own any to begin with. They keep you in the lane of digital promises, while they quietly settle the debts of history with the real weight of the metal. They move the world from a system of proof of work to a system of proof of trust. Knowing full well that they were the ones who would eventually break that trust. Fast forward to the 1960s. A decade the world remembers for its music and its wars. But which the auditors remember for the London gold pool. It was a desperate secret alliance of 8 central banks. A frantic attempt to suppress the price of truth. They threw their physical gold into the furnace of the market, trying to convince the world that the paper was still as good as gold. They bled their reserves white to maintain the illusion. They spent years trying to gravity. Proof a lie. But the ledger eventually demanded an answer. The world saw through the rigging. They saw that the atoms were fleeing the vaults of the West, heading toward anyone who still valued the physical over the digital. The pool collapsed not because of a lack of will, but because of a lack of metal. You can rig the price, but you cannot rig the inventory. When the physical bars ran thin, the system fractured. This is the exact pattern we see emerging in the quiet hours of our present age. Once again, the gap between the paper price and the physical reality is widening. Once again, the invisible hands are trying to hold down the lid of a boiling cauldron. But the gravity of the metal is relentless. The elites know this better than anyone. They remember the collapse of the pool. They remember the day the windows closed. That is why they are not selling their gold to save the system this time. They are hoarding it to survive the system's end. They are no longer the protectors of the currency. They are the survivors of its coming evaporation. Now, look at the world around you. We have built a civilization on light money. We have replaced the clink of the coin with the silent vibration of a notification. They have built an architecture of virtual vaults. ETFs, digital credits, unallocated accounts, where the gold is held for you by the very institutions that profit from its absence. They tell you it is for your safety. They tell you it is for liquidity. But in the language of the auditor, liquidity is often just a polite word for evaporation. If you own a paper claim to gold, you do not own gold. You own a contract with a counterparty who hopes you never ask for it. It is a grand, global game of musical chairs played with the collective wealth of humanity. For every real bar of gold, there are hundreds of digital ghosts floating in the system. As long as the lights stay on, as long as the signal is strong, the ghost looks like a man. But when the systemic tremors begin, when the cyber frontiers are breached, or the geopolitical plates shift, the ghosts will vanish. The people who thought they were anchored will find themselves drifting in a digital void. They will reach for the weight of their savings and find only the static of a disconnected network. This is the alchemy of the elite. They keep the heavy atoms for their sovereignty, and they give the light bits to the masses for their consumption. They are moving the physical wealth of the world from the west to the east, from the light to the dark, from the many to the few. They are preparing for a world where the cloud is no longer a place of storage, but a place of deletion. But here is the detail that should keep you awake as the rain falls against the glass. The people running the game, the very architects who built this labyrinth of paper, are the ones quietly, systematically exiting through the back door. If you watch the movements on the global ledger with an auditor's patience, you will see a massive, silent migration. A great repatriation. The guardians of the East have watched the West print its way into a corner for half a century. They are no longer interested in the paper game. They are vacuuming up the world's supply, moving it across oceans, and locking it beneath their own bedrock, behind walls of reinforced concrete and state-sanctioned silence. They are de-dollarizing the future in a favor of the yellow metal. They are moving away from light money, the money that can be frozen by a bureaucrat, cancelled by an algorithm, or deleted by a single keystroke. And moving back into the heavy truth of the physical world. Consider the irony for a moment as you listen to the quiet hours of the night. The very institutions that call gold a barbarous relic in their public speeches are the ones building the largest, most secure vaults in human history. They tell you to be modern, to be digital, to be weightless. Yet they are buying the Earth's most ancient metal by the hundreds of tons. They are not buying an investment. They are buying an exit strategy. They are buying the power to survive the collapse of the very system they manage. They are building lifeboats of pure, dense atoms, while they tell you to keep swimming in the digital sea. They know that in the coming era of systemic fragility, a digital asset is often a liability in disguise. In a world where a line of code can be erased in a millisecond, where a coordinated strike can blind a banking network, or a solar flare can factory reset the history of our transactions. What remains? We are witnessing the final standoff between atoms and bits. The elites are not betting on the digital future they sold to you. They are hedging against it. While they encourage the masses to embrace a cashless society, to trust in the cloud, and to live in a world where you own nothing and possess no physical records. They are pulling physical reality back into their own private sanctuaries. They are securing the atoms while the world is distracted by the bits. Think of the silence of a vault. A true vault is not just a room. It is a fortress against time itself. Inside, the gold doesn't care about the internet. It doesn't care about the shifting winds of political ideology. It simply sits, exerting its gravity. It is the only asset that does not require a functioning power grid to maintain its value. They want you to live in the cloud, a place where everything is temporary. Everything is tracked, and everything can be taken away with the push of a button. But they live in the basement. They live in the deep vaults where the laws of physics still apply. They understand that sovereignty is not a digital certificate. It is not a line on a spreadsheet. It is a physical reality. The weight of gold is the weight of a person who cannot be cancelled by a remote server. It is the weight of a nation that cannot be erased from the ledger of history. It is the gravity that keeps you anchored when the storms of the financial world begin to blow. When the digital lights eventually go out, And history tells us they always do. The only person left with true power is the one who holds the atom. They have sold you a world of light, but they have kept the world of weight for themselves. This is the greatest audit of our century. And the results are being hidden in plain sight. They want you to stay light so that you are easier to blow away. They want you to stay in the paper lane where you can be managed, tracked, diluted, and ultimately deleted. But the ledger doesn't lie. The gold is moving. It is moving from the hands of the many into the vaults of the few. It is moving from the world of promises to the world of atoms. The era of paper is thinning. It is becoming transparent. And we can finally see the machinery behind it. The gravity of reality is returning. And it is pulling us back down to earth. Every nation that is currently buying physical gold is effectively performing a vote of no confidence in the digital future. They are preparing for a world where the only thing that matters is what is physically present. As the rain continues to fall, feel the weight of this silence. The gold is moving. The ledger is being settled. The era of the ghost is ending. And the era of the atom is returning. You are no longer just a spectator. You have seen the audit. You understand why the elites are quiet. You understand why the vaults are being reinforced. Stay heavy. Stay anchored. Because when the lights finally go out, the only thing that will matter is what you can still hold in your hand. The audit of the sovereign reserve system is now nearing its final seal. The truth is heavy. Sleep well, if you can, knowing the weight of the world is shifting beneath your feet. The audit continues in the silence. We are approaching the final moments of tonight's entry. The vault doors are closing. The lights in the corridors of 33 Liberty Street are flickering out. And the bedrock of Manhattan is once again left in total heavy silence. But before you drift away, I want you to feel the weight of what we have discussed. Gold is more than just a chemical element. It is more than a hedge against inflation or a relic of central banking history. It is a philosophy. It is a fundamental belief that for something to be truly valuable, it must be difficult. It must be rare. It must demand a sacrifice of energy and time that cannot be faked or duplicated. In a world that has fallen in love with the easy lie, the idea that wealth can be printed, that value can be conjured from thin air, and that reality can be lived in a digital cloud. Gold remains the ultimate rejection of that fantasy. As you drift towards sleep, I want you to perform a private audit of your own life. Open your own ledger in your mind. How much of your security is built on paper? How much of your peace of mind is dependent on a digital system that refuses to be audited? We have become a civilization of the light, floating on credit, drifting on promises, and untethered from the atoms that once anchored us. But as we have seen tonight, the gravity of reality is a force that cannot be ignored forever. Choosing to acknowledge the weight of gold, to seek the bedrock instead of the cloud, is a revolutionary act. It is an act of reclamation. It is the choice to be heavy in a world that wants to blow you away like dust. In our next session, we will descend even further into the darkness. We will investigate the terrifying reality of tungsten-filled gold. Bars that look like reality on the surface but are hollow at the core. We will unseal the secret leasing programs that have quietly drained the vaults of the West, leaving behind nothing but paper receipts in empty cages. It is an audit that will change the way you look at the safety of the global financial system forever. For those listening across the platforms, whether you are walking through the rain-slicked streets of a late-night city or resting in the quiet sanctuary of your home, remember this: the audit never sleeps. Truth does not require your belief to exist, but it does require your attention to be found. Keep your connection to these records secure. The series will continue, and the entries will only become more vital as the storm approaches. The truth is heavy, but weight is what keeps you anchored when the winds of the Great Reset begin to howl. It is the only thing that will remain when the digital lights go out and the paper promises burn away. Entry number 4 of the Black Ledger is now officially sealed. The record is closed for tonight, but the implications remain open in your mind. Keep your assets heavy. Keep your thoughts sharp. And for now, let the gravity of the bedrock pull you into the deep, honest silence of the night. Sleep well. Stay grounded. Good night.